Hello everyone, here is a quick video on a Shatter build for the Frost Sorceress in Diablo IV. With a high lucky hit chance, we can freeze things together that spreads to everything, and we can use Shatter to explode them all up. It's fun to play solo and would be great in team settings, especially in hardcore, where people are not trying to die and they can't do damage when they're frozen. So here we go. You're going to want Aspect of Shared Misery to spread your freeze to other targets. Next up is the aspect of Biting Cold on a two-hand staff, which will allow you to have a 70% chance to make your frozen targets vulnerable. Note that staffs have extra damage to crowd control enemies as well. Next up is Frostburns for an extra chance to freeze, more damage, and a chance for regaining mana. Finally, you have your aspect of Piercing Cold, which will allow your ice shards to pierce through targets. While not necessarily mandatory, Temerity Legs will give you a lot more uptime on your barrier, which will also help with your lucky hit chance. The last couple items are a mixture of damage reduction, lucky hit, damage, and resource generation. We start off with Firebolt, just in case we want to use the enchantment. Move on to Ice Shards and max it out, choosing the vulnerability, and of course have it as an enchantment slot. We pretty much get every single defensive cooldown. I get Flame Shield and Teleport for my boots to save some points, followed by Ice Armor and Frost Nova, choosing vulnerability. Now we get the Lucky Hit passive and some defensive barrier options. Now we get Snap Freeze, which is critical to the build. I'm hoping Amulets can increase this by +2, +4, but I haven't seen it yet. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen that before. I have Ball Lightning as an enchantment slot to test the insane attack speed scaling, which could potentially proc mana regen and more freezing effects. From here we take all of the Frost passives for damage and go down into Electric or potential on damage reduction debuffs, crit chance, and even stun that could further be spread across targets. And Shatter, which when you freeze a target and deal a bunch of damage to it, once it's unfrozen, it will explode, dealing a percentage of that damage dealt. As each Shatter explosion goes off, it's an additional chance to freeze targets in the area. For our first Paragon, we put Control in. It just gives us a pretty big damage boost really early. We follow that up with Frigid Fate, which gives us more lucky chance when we hit vulnerable targets. Followed by Unleash, which is just giving a bit of damage, a bit of regen. And then I cross over into Icefall for barrier when you kill a frozen target. And then here I'm actually moving up to test some attack speed. So a lot of these things can be, whatever you feel like you want. I'm curious how attack speed works. I'm also curious how execute works with Shatter. If you execute while something's during Shatter, does it get a big damage bonus or does it lose the damage bonus? It's something I'm interested in finding out. Once you freeze a large group of monsters, you want to make sure you're standing beside the elites. This will create this giant volley of ice shards coming out, and it will make sure that elite stays frozen, while also making your shatter on that elite get really, really big. You can see this creates a chain effect where the shatter explodes, freezing other monsters, they take extra damage, the shatters kind of boost each other up, explode again, and it just kind of forms a looping crowd control aspect of this freeze. I'm also not spamming ice shards. I'm really just trying to proc the loop cycle as you would and get the chain of effects to happen and start just going off on their own. Frost Nova obviously is the biggest, just almost instantly ignites the loop to get going. For world bosses or anything similar, I will just pop over my skill tree and go to Avalanche. That just makes it easier for the single target bosses. Now, in the late game, scaling, potentially, Lucky Hit on Frostburn and our passive through Frost with Cold hitting vulnerable might be enough to actually generate mana. We will see. Deep Freeze and Shatter is an incredibly strong combo. It will all be frozen as you come out, which will allow you to start shooting off your ice shards to everything and have this massive shatter explosion. That pretty much sums up the build. You freeze things, it spreads, ice shards go off, shatters gets big, the shatters go off, they refreeze things, and it creates a kind of infinity loop in some way. I would think any hardcore group would love to have one of these as even a support mage, crowd controlling everything. The best damage reduction is when they don't do damage. So, this video is sponsored by me. I'm a creator on the Unreal Engine Marketplace with a product called Vertical Third. It is great for learning game development as a starting point. We are epic Mega Grant recipients. If you have any questions, please drop by our Discord server. We'll have some links in the description. I'm going to finish this off with a few minutes of gameplay. Enjoy.
Precious mana. I need time to prepare. I lack the needed mana. Precious mana. need time to prepare that. Out of mana once again.
I'm not ready yet.
I'm low on precious mana.